All right, this is one of the reasons that you could see for the Bitcoin sell-off. Here's Robert Kennedy. He confesses to Roseanne Barr that he dumps a bear cub in Central Park of all friggin' places. He picked up from the roadkill a bear cub and was planning on skinning it and I guess eating the meat. This is why he has brain worms. This is why, even though his great ideas for crypto, he's never going to get elected. Weird old white men. Another one, Trump, who is a weird old white man, is not going to get elected. It says here Kamala crushed. That's not true. The truth is he's the one who's getting crushed. And America doesn't want any more weird, crazy old white men. And RFK and Trump, who both support Bitcoin, are weird, crazy old white men. So unfortunately, Kamala is part of the whole anti-crypto league with the central bankers. That's unfortunate, and that's probably one of the reasons for the sell-off. Anyway, on to the video. Good morning. Okay, here we are once again, and we're coming upon a resistance zone. And I can't say I really care. If you notice, I've changed the red, which this used to be red, to blue now, because this is the major support zone right down here, 61.8 previous 200% zone. When we went into around 50K, I went over and bought 25%. I went in pretty big. I was buying the whole time, but here's where I went in to a larger degree because we hit this zone, and right under 50K is where I went in, and I will look to go in the last. I have about 20% left, and this is also with adding new money. So I'm going in big and going in all the way, because what I'm really looking for is for prices to go here. Let's go to another chart so you can see it. First, here, let me focus on the short term because somebody was asked about this. And I'm going to try to make you understand the reasons for this being resistance is because of this and this over here. And I'm sure it'll make sense to you if we go and look at these points right on the charts. Let's zoom in a bit. So you remember the apex that I drew was right around the mid 64K range, right here. And then we went down here. That went down to like 62,595. And this one went all the way down to 59,224. So the 59,224 is where we currently have resistance. And if you see it in the chart right now, let's crunch it back up and go and expand it back here. You can see that's where we are right now, right around the 259, 260, and that's where we're pulling back from. And we could zoom in a little bit closer. We'll do up to a 45. And right up to there, right on the money, this is resistance. That was the first apex point. The next apex point is in the 62K range. But then we go to the chart itself, and we don't see anything until this point here. That's key. And this point here and here. So this is the real block. Now the past history of the 59, 200, and the 62 all fits within this. So this would be the major area from what we could see from the current support resistance and from the past, which I showed you in the chart over there. So that's what you have there. But again, I'm just buying and holding. So my last buy, go over here, I was doing 5% on each one of these buys, and then I did a full 25% on this one right here because of the fact it went down to that blue line, which you see right here. So that was my major marker. That's the major support level. And we get a bounce here. Normally, I would trade this for this up here, just because it's a good trade. But I'm not doing that. Everything I buy, I hold now. And I'll show you why. Because I don't care about these small time prices. I do not want to miss the big move up. And I'm not going to be able to tell when they move it, because here's what happens when you have smart money or big money buying. They don't care about charts. Okay? And let me repeat that. They do not care about technicals and charts. They can give an F less. And that is just a fact. And a lot of people don't pay attention to that. But I know, and I've seen this before in the past, what the real numbers that big money looks for. And it is much higher than what we're looking at. Retail traders are looking for 10, 20 times. Yeah, well, the big money could be looking at 100 times their money, their returns. And if we look on the chart right here, this was a beautiful down move. Went to that level right around 50K. I can't say anything but fantastic. It got out all the stupid people, all the short-term traders and scalper, all the margin traders, smoked them. All the leverage traders all smoked, all done. They were like buying as it went down, and they were over leveraging, and then they got knocked out. And you can tell by this spike that was here that happened real fast. So that gave a buying opportunity. And for me, I'm just buying and holding. I'm not looking to trade any of this, because let's go to the larger time frame. Here's your little pattern that's right here. And is this a negative pattern? Is it going to break and go down to the downside? Go all the way down to here? Possible, but not likely. And there's a reason why. It has to do with the fact that it broke the prior highs of this right over here, which was in the 69K area, right around there. It's under 670K. It went up to 73, 74, this whole area up here. When it did that, it changed all of the dynamics in the chart. And I think I've repeated this already. So now I'm looking for my minimum target right here on a breakout and continuation upwards. And this can happen in the next several months. I think we have pullback possibilities until October. So once all of that is done through August to October, the next less than 2 months, maybe a month and a half, that's basically it. That's the end of it. And then, we should break this area. Once this area is broken, there's nothing till numbers that go up to here. This is the minimum target. Let me repeat that. The minimum target. I'm not doing anything with everything that I buy down here until I get numbers above here. There's not going to be any real resistance. I have a feeling I know how the bigger money's going to move it. They might even move it slow and try to push it out towards 2026. And so I might have time. I might have a year or more to wait before they make it obvious. But once it does start to go, here's your minimum target, and more than likely, numbers are going to go all the way up to here. And like I said, they're just accumulating and holding. They're not looking for the next year or two. They're looking for 5 to 10 years out. And they're looking for numbers that are much higher than what everybody else is focused on. And my guess is they're much higher than even numbers up to here. So we'll see what happens. But I have nothing to do but buy and hold and wait for numbers to get above there. That's just what the chart says. And it's just, that's the next logical point of interest right up here. That's the main focus. Yeah, so we're just building the bull market, but we're doing it from a pullback of an overbought, broke the highs here, and now we're just going to shake out the last of the stupid people, because they're not going to hold. They're going to try to trade it and try to pick the best areas, and that's what retail does, and that's what the bigger money, that's why they do it for effect. They try to get you to get out of, whipsaw you out of the marketplace. And, that's not going to work with me. Maybe it works with the leverage traders, then drop it all the way down here, and then fast down, then it goes back up to here, and as we've seen right up here, maybe it goes back up to here. It could pull back again, but like I've said, and I'm going to repeat this, all I see them doing is buying. Buying, buying, buying. They're buying large amounts, and they're doing it over time, and they're trying to push prices down off a low volume and trying to sway the activity to get people to sell. And if the stupid people are dumb enough to sell, well, that's going to be their loss. So I'm just buying into the sellers and holding. Nothing to do. And that's going to be it for this video, because it's just focused on Bitcoin. And I'm just giving you my overall, ideas on this. I think the short-term fear that we had from the stock market was overblown. Even if the stock market is overbought, which I believe it is, doesn't really matter. What is an election year? You're not going to get the crash in an election year. It's just not likely. The Fed will prop up the market, and so you've got time, in my opinion. They'll do it when nobody's looking. So things should be safe, and I think this is just going to be a fantastic buying opportunity. And thank you. I mean, 50K. I got 50K. Look at that on that last buy. That was fantastic. Here, let's go to the 4-hour and scrunch it up where it makes sense. I mean, that is unbelievable. So I bought a large chunk of it down here. I've increased my holdings, and that's all I'm doing. Now, my biggest fear is that we break up to the 60K and above and keep going, and then break out above this 70K area, and nobody's going to expect it. And we do that, I might have to buy the last, with the money that I put in. I can't even calculate it anymore. It would have been like 15%, but now that's gone up to more, because I've added new money to this. I've sold a bunch of other things and taken out money for, we'll see, but I might have to pay upwards. I might get inflated, whereas before I was buying into the sellers, which is much better. But that's not up to me. And short term, if you wanted to trade, this would be your resistance. You'd look for it to get up to here, and then to drop back down to at least 51, the low 51K area. That's what you would look for. Because here's what happens. You get your dead cat bounce, 1, 2, 3, and then you drop back down to the at least the closing prices. If not the lows. The closing prices are what you would look to be a buyer of at. and under into the pullback if you get that. And we had it at 1, 2, or I'm sorry, this is your bottom, 1, 2, 3. So that's what you look. It's basically a zigzag. It's not that complicated. It's on the high volume. The high volume is the marker and the support point for the bounce. This is your resistance, and the resistance is very easy. You look for your spikes down here, your price goes up there, spikes back down here, meanders, goes across, creates a little shelf, then breaks, spikes under it, then breaks back up to it, tests this candle right here, this pinpoint candle right here, tested right there. And if you brought up smaller time frames, you'd see this. It would be more, visual, and you would see where the 60K, actually where does that go? That goes right around the mid 59K and above would be resistance. So this whole area, basically. And you would look to trade it all the way back down to the closing price right here and under, maybe all the way down to the lows and so forth, or a percentage there and of. That's how you do it. You would dollar cost average from this whole area. Just draw a blue block all the way down to the lows and see what happens from there. But that's where we are, and we're bouncing. And don't be surprised. I mean, more than likely you'll get a pullback. But don't be surprised if prices just go up and up and up. And maybe even take out this 60, 70K area and blow everybody's mind, because nobody's going to be expecting it. Nobody's going to expect it. But I'm telling you, the big money is buying the down move. They created and orchestrated to get the dumb money to sell, and the smart money is buying. And at some point, they're going to take this out above here, and we're going to keep going higher. So it's a bull market, even in this pullback. That looks so extreme, but it's really not that extreme. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next.